Against warriors, say the flame to shout. Make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise. Fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truth to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey guys, actually it's tonight it's To The Point with Mike, John, and Joann. We might see Vince and Leo drop in.
Nice.
We're going live a day early this week. It's episode 98, and our normal show would have fallen on Christmas Eve, and I just didn't see bringing everybody out of the house or away from the family, so they shouldn't be watching us on Christmas Eve, that's for sure. How you guys doing tonight?
Great. What's going on?
Good.
I love the intro, man. I love the intro, the music, and then you guys still use that old intro that you did in the very beginning. I love it.
Yeah, Eddie had gotten the music made for us, Eddie with the Patriots Prayer Network, and I kind of added some of our sound effects to it, so I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Joann, you did a pretty good video recently on the drones. You learned a lot from that. What is your take on the drones? I hate to jump right into the drones. It wasn't even on my list to talk about.
Yeah, that's good though.
Well, I think the drones are a deep state. This is, like even when Trump had mentioned, hey, I'm not going to New Jersey. I'm not going to be there. And then when they asked him, what does he know about it? He didn't say anything about it. So I think he knows it's the deep state.
Yeah,
he knows who it is, and he doesn't want to give any details out so they know what his plan is. But why else, if it was safe for him to go out there, he would have went out there, but he's not going out there because he knows it's not safe. And it's partially the deep state, the inner enemy. And I think they're working with an outsider as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, obviously, if he's getting military briefs, he knows where it's coming from. So, and he can't, divulge it because it's the art of war too. So he's playing that basic back and forth game that's been going on for the past 4 years. So, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a distraction for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. And I always go back to what Werner von Braun said, that, that's the final card. That once you're pushed into a corner, the final card is to start to make these deceptions, these fake alien invasion kind of look-alike thing, because that's what the one world good world order is a one world government, to where everybody submits their sovereignty to the all high power, the world government, that it's one world order, one world government, one world monetary system, one world religion. That was their plan. That's in Behold the Pale Horse. If you ever listen to that book, or you listen or read Behold the Pale Horse, at the end of the book, he talks about, imagine having a financial collapse, some kind of an extraterrestrial invasion, and a possible nuclear annihilation all at the same time. He says that, and he wrote the book in 1991. So when you when you listen to it now, you're like, holy crap, like he basically just predicted, like we're sitting in that window right now. Possible nuclear, conflict, possible economic, reality of a crash of the dollar at some time, and then this whole like alien thing, like whatever disclosures coming, they're prepping people for it.
Well, and the good thing is that Elon Musk is right there beside Trump, because Elon Musk has all that technology up there. So he's probably got people, in the back room working on things for him. Because, these drones, they're flown. When they first came out, they were flying them from little rooms on the ground, and they had a certain distance. But now they have exponential distance that they can go, there's technology that we don't even know what they're doing. So I'm sure, like when they said they're coming off the ocean, I'm sure they are. They probably can fly a very far distance, and to come onto land. And also they're not heat. You can't detect them through heat. So there's a lot of technology there that we don't even know. And so it makes me feel comfortable knowing that Elon Musk is right there with Trump, because he can talk to him about all this technical stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah. And
I think they know.
Yeah.
I think they 100% know. I think it's beyond their touch. Even the people who are allowed to tell us things, it's beyond their reach, I think.
Mhm.
I agree.
Like you said, I think it's deep state, whether they're collaborating with a foreign entity or an intelligence company type, an intelligence gathering company. But they've scared us from everything from aliens to nuclear sniffing drones to
Exactly.
Iranian motherships and stuff like that. And that he's a senator or representative from New Jersey, like Van Der. He had
Van.
pretty good information on those Iranian drone ships.
Mhm.
It, you know, in when the government doesn't tell you, I mean, I revert to this all the time. When they don't give you an answer, they leave it up in the air. Everybody has every right to assume their wackiest idea, and then they turn around and call you a conspiracy theorist. But
Right.
you're not giving me an answer. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
of course it's aliens or Iranian drones, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if it was Mossad or
Mhm.
MI6 or something like that, or CIA.
Yeah.
We let the Chinese fly a balloon from the Aleutian Islands all the way across North America, and
Yep.
then we took a shot at it off the coast of Myrtle Beach. Like, for what? Why now? It's like,
Yeah.
so I'm
Well, and
nothing. Nothing could surprise me at this point.
it's all the technology too. Remember this hidden technology that, if
Mhm.
Musk is, whether he's with Trump or what he's doing with Trump or whatever, he knows what NASA has because he's been part of that world, so he understands that. And if Werner von Braun was one of the founders of NASA, and he is the one that comes along with it and tells you that they're going to try to throw this weird fake alien card at us because they do have reverse engineered technology they've acquired through Majestic 12.
Mhm.
Majestic 12 is a whole group of the 12 that knew about all the crash sites, and they found the technology, and they reverse engineered it, and they possibly found other life forms in these crashes. So that's always been a cover up. So when I say it's disclosure, that's what I kind of mean, because Bill Cooper, like when we say you have to discern for yourself what this really is. So if Bill Cooper said it back in 1991 in his book, that they're going to at some point disclose this reverse technology that they've always had, they have to, the people need to know about it, because that's hiding information from the American people. And that's a bad thing. That's any kind of thing that goes on in the dark, and some kind of hidden technology that could possibly maybe help humanity, and it's been hiding it from us. That's why you kind of see this all being thrown at us all at one time.
Yeah.
Well, John, they don't want to help humanity. They
Well, of course
want
not.
to
Yeah.
depopulate humanity. So
Well,
the
but again,
technology that they come up with that they're hiding from us, it is not to our benefit.
but what? Well, no, there is technology that is to our benefit that they're hiding from us, like free energy, like Tesla free energy, that we can power cities without having wires being all over, because we have wireless technology now with what we're doing right now. How do we think we're doing this? We're doing it through wireless technology, through being able to do this show. So they have what way more than you can imagine that they're
Yeah.
hiding that would
I
actually
agree.
help people, help third world countries to be able to get out of poverty. So that's the disclosure that I think is happening, because it has to be shown to the people at some point. So if it is deep state, yeah, they're showing their card to, like, hey, this is what we were going to do. We were going to scare the crap out of you by doing these drones, and then have these drones flash holographic images of ships in the sky that are coming in. Then we're like, oh crap, what do we do? Holy shit, and then things get a little crazy. But they're hiding this from us, and this is part of the disclosure. And I think Elon is behind it too.
Yeah. I think part of that psyop, the ultimate psyop, is that confusion factor where, you see all these different images. I
Yep.
mean, in those images, I saw what looked like commercial aircraft. Then I saw what looked like normal drones.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see all kinds of different stuff. One of them looked like the Starlink satellites
Yep.
when they line up and head in their direction.
Mm-hmm.
And what
I've
about
seen
that
drone
fog?
acrobats. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all where we are on the east coast of Florida. But some of that stuff, even the size of those things, it's a little alarming. And then, like I said, when they don't give you an answer,
Yeah.
but they tell you, oh, it's nothing to worry about. But if you come across one that crashed, make sure you stay 280 feet away from it,
Exactly.
because that's the radius where if there's something, a payload that's dangerous, but
Yeah.
it's okay,
That's
don't worry.
okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they catch it
But
Yeah,
first. They show
I
up
learned
first.
like I think it was about 4 years ago. I learned because I was talking to somebody close to me about drones because I was interested. We were in the park and somebody was flying drones, and it's so cool. They got the little the glasses they put on now, and you can fly like
oh wow.
virtual droning. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And they were telling me, oh, drones, the military drones are huge. So then I went online and I started looking up drones, and no kidding, they have drones that are probably
Yeah.
the square footage of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I
Small
started
jets.
researching it then, and I'm like, holy cow, like technology has gone. I was up for hours just looking at it because it was so
Yeah.
interesting. And they showed different types of drones. Some
Yeah.
drones look like gliders, some drones, look like the typical drone that you're looking at. Some drones carry fire, the military bombers on it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where I learned that they were at that time they had people sitting, and it was like a video game. the,
Mm-hmm.
the people that run these drones are like in a little
Mm-hmm.
container
100%.
running these drones
Yeah.
you
That's what
know
makes these wars scary, like the
Yeah.
Russia-Ukraine war.
Exactly.
There's a lot of drone activity, like those suicide droners, and it's like it could be a bunch of 14-year-olds playing a video game.
Well,
Or
Obama,
or they've got their experience from playing video
well,
games.
that's
you
that
know
you're exactly right. And Obama was taking out the enemies of ISIS with drones. I didn't want to
He
believe that.
killed an American citizen when he did
Yeah,
that.
he was killing people. He was killing. ISIS was doing their dirty deeds overseas, and he was bombing ISIS's enemies to give them the easy path to whatever they needed to do to destroy, to cause chaos. So he was
Yep.
doing that on purpose. I didn't want to believe that. I was like, no, he's not. Why would the president do that? But then you find out that that's what he was doing. He was taking out ISIS's enemies to make them more powerful.
mhm.
And that's why Trump took ISIS out right away. Al-Baghdadi and Soleimani and all that. That's why he tells you that, because he's like, I went in there and took them out that easily. Well, how come Obama couldn't do that? Well, because he was helping them. So they were using that technology to help them to advance in the war on terror. It's all on purpose.
Yeah, and you
I
don't
was
know you can't believe anything anymore. I mean,
No.
everything
No,
from
you
the
can't.
USS Liberty to the Patriot Act to
Mm.
9/11, it's just like
All of it.
everything is in question. That the more Twitter files that come out, Kennedy files, all these files that's
Yeah.
coming to light, it's definitely questioning the integrity of our government. Obviously, there was very little trust there to begin with, but
Well, and the fabric
before
of
we
our
move
society.
on,
Yeah.
I want to move on from the drone stuff, but I don't know how to say their name, but on YouTube, Duck Butta 69 said, "What's going on?"
Hey, what's up?
I'm pretty sure that's Dale from Two Guys in One Coup. Said they know exactly what they are, meaning the government. Yep,
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
they do.
and it all leads back to money. When they say there's nothing to worry about,
There's something to
start
worry
Start
worrying.
worrying.
Definitely,
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, you can't worry. You can't go into the fear space though, and that's what they want, and that's what Bill Cooper said in his book, was like, you can't fall for the fear space. You got to realize that everything's going to be all right. You just have to take care of yours and your own and your backyard, and make sure that you're prepared for whatever's about to come. So expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
In
Well, I
Nevada,
think
Um,
what he means by that is to be alert and be aware. Like
well,
if
let
they're
me
telling you not to
Oh,
worry, that
question the
means they're
narrative
lying to
always.
you.
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
And what he's saying here in Nevada is where they can control the Predator drones for the military. I was in Nevada. I camped out at Area 51 for a week, and he's exactly right. I saw exactly what he's saying. I saw so many things flying out there that were like absolutely ridiculous. I was like, what is that? Like, whoa, what is that? Like at night, you would see all these different things, and they look like the triangle with the lights just cruising along. Then you'd see something go like that really quick, like a shooting star. And I'd be like, holy crap, what was that? Like, you saw so much activity out there because they're testing exactly what he's saying.
Mhm.
All the engineer, all the technology they've had a hold of, they test that stuff out there on the daily. It might not be every night, but it's happening, and they have it. And I was I was like, no, I was like, oh, that's not an alien. You know, like when you see it, you're like, that's extraterrestrial. Then you realize, no, I'm near Area 51. So what are they doing? They're doing test runs. So that's why none of this surprises me, because of what I saw out in Area 51. So it makes sense.
I wonder if the balloon would have made it across the desert of Nevada and Arizona.
No way.
No.
They would have took it out with one of those drones that they were flying out there when I was there.
Yeah.
They would have just lifted one up out of the cave and went.
You know, I was talking with a friend, and she's Chinese, and she has a lot of groups that she keeps in touch with in China. And in China, she says they use the smaller drones to do like huge light shows in the sky. Like they do figures and
they
all
do it
that
at
stuff.
Disney also.
Yeah, and when she was telling me that, I was like, well, that's amazing, because that's how you test it out before it turns into a bigger drone. You know, and what flashed in my head was a choreographed military drone. You know, pack of drones, you know, choreographed. Here they're testing the choreography in the smaller drones to see how well the technology works, and then you bring it to the big place. You know?
No, you're right. You're right. And that's a lot of what I saw out there. Was they looked like drones, and they were choreographed too. They were like cruising along the sky real slow in a triangle shape, and then they would go really fast, and then they would duck out behind the mountain. And you're like, how is that even possible? Like, how can they do that? Is somebody manning that, or was it remote control, like you were saying, Mike? They're like, they got a couple kids down in the cave down there in Area 51, and they're controlling these at night, practicing, or is it really manned by somebody? You know,
right? You never know. So, did you guys see that horrible attack in the subway of New York City?
Yes,
I just caught it before we came on. I was like, at first, I was like, what is that? What's going on here? I'm like, nobody's helping the person. They just let her burn. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's almost unreal. Like, I couldn't.
That's what I
saw the footage. I didn't really want to see it, but I watched the footage, and I paid close attention to the coverage of that footage too, and it was a little shocking. You know, you see the picture or the video, the cop walk right by. It was like,
yeah, he did.
Like, and I was shocked. I was actually like dumbfounded to just see the woman standing there.
Yeah.
Like I almost like it wasn't real. Like I sure as hell hope it wasn't real. I don't know if they identified the victim yet.
They caught him. It's a Guatemala man that crossed the border, was arrested, sent back, and crossed the border back again.
Huh.
Yeah,
so they caught him.
Yeah. No, I thought it was when I saw Mike, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, how is she still standing up? I was like, how could you're burning and she was I mean, it looked like her feet were like almost gone. And I was like, how can you be standing up still?
It was horrific. And somebody was sitting on the bench there.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you see that? Somebody was sitting on the bench.
I mean, it's disheartening. You know, you just saw Daniel Penny by the skin of his teeth escape prison sentence for being in his, standing up and helping another citizen. And it's just all these people on the subway, man. And you hear about it. I'm not from New York City, but you hear about the horror stories about people just shoved into the front of the train. Like these people, you don't make eye contact with the homeless in the subway. And it's a horrible situation, and unfortunately it's fluid. Crime in New York City is fluid like the market, depending on who your mayor and your police commissioner are. It just seems like, can they ever get back to the Rudy Giuliani days?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Joann, you're from New York. How, I mean,
it's really disheartening, because I can tell you, when I grew up as a young kid, I rode the subway at 11 years old. Jeez. And during those days, people took care of each other. I can't tell you how many times I saw somebody who, the subway platform has a yellow line that you're not to remind you to stand back. And some people would just lean over to see if the train is coming because they're in a hurry, and they fall over. And without a second going by, somebody would be in there helping them out. Yeah. Or I've seen homeless fall in the tracks, and people just go in and help them out. They don't look at them and go, "Oh, how disgusting!"
And now they video.
Now they don't do that. It's not a safe place anymore. Like we used to help each other out. And that's when the guardian angels, is that what they're called now? The subway guardian angels, they started when I was a teenager in the
Hmm.
subways, because we had some gangs that were coming into Queens, where I lived, from the city, and harassing people on the subway. So then this volunteer group took kids off the streets and turned them into heroes. And so it's really disheartening for me to see this, because I'm like, New York, nobody's going to want to help anybody.
They don't.
It's
They
too
don't now.
risky.
No, they don't
Even the
now.
cops, even the
Yeah.
But
cops,
you might get sued.
yeah, when
Yeah.
I saw that cop walk by, I'm like, yeah, why would he want to save her? If he
Oh,
saves her and she dies when he's trying to save her, he might be charged for her dying in his custody.
who knows?
It's
Well, who
like,
knows? I mean,
why would he want to do that?
yeah. I mean, again, people. Mike, I stick with what you're saying. Like, it almost looks not real. I mean, even like the guy was standing there brushing like the smoke away, trying to like put her out. And I'm thinking that's got to stink to whole hell. Like, you wouldn't be able to stand smelling somebody's burning flesh. That you'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not, I'm not fanning her off. I'm gonna like get
Was
the
that what he was doing? Or I thought it was the culprit was doing that to fan the flames.
maybe I don't know, but
That's what I heard in a side text, in a group text I'm in. I don't know. I didn't see
Yeah.
the full video or
either
the
way,
other
I mean, if
videos. Or just
you're standing around, I mean, that had to have been so.
Yeah.
And you're in the subway, so it's got to stink even more. Like, come on, like it just doesn't look.
Mhm.
Like I said, to me, it was like I thought it was. I scrolled it and I stopped and I went, "What is going on there? Is that real? Like, what the hell is happening?" And then
yeah.
Hochul, the governor, she's doing selfies
Same
on the
day.
this, yeah, on the set, like, yeah, everything's safe. So that's why I say, Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like, how is that even real? Like, is that the coincidence can't be like, oh, she was on the subway taking selfies, how everything's safe, and then somebody gets lit up on fire and it happens at the same time. Like, that's like two different realities right there, man. It
Yeah,
doesn't
if the
click.
subways are so safe for Hochul, then why does she have to travel with an armed guard? Let her
Well, of
get on the
course, I
subway like
know.
the rest
Yeah,
of us
I
and ride
know.
it and tell us how safe it is.
But she's on the subway taking a picture of herself saying how safe it is, and then this happened like the same day. Like, that's
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Duck Butter 69 said people would rather get the video for views than help nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Well, we live in a TikTok world. I mean, that brings to another aspect of this situation is media coverage. You don't want to filter this kind of thing, maybe warn people, like as far as making it available for people to see. Like, I mean, if those images aren't out there, do they hit home? If you just read this headline, I mean, yeah, it's sad, but does it really resonate that we have if you live in the cul-de-sac and you don't experience it, does it really hit home that you have an immigration
No,
problem if you just
no,
read this in a small headline?
no, it doesn't.
No. I mean,
So
it kind of like triggers you a little bit because like when I read it, but I didn't see it yet, I was like, wow, I was like that they said lit somebody on fire. I was like on a subway. Like, well, what do you? How does like that? How does that even occur? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But then when you see it, you're like, holy crap! And I think that's why X, it's not 100% wide open to the truth, but that's where you're going to find this kind of stuff. And I think more people are turning away from mainstream media and they're starting to see this stuff on X because they're not going to report something like this on the mainstream media. And even if they do, they're going to blur the whole thing out. So you're going to be like, what am I watching here? You have to see it. The people have to be shown, not told, how bad things really are. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I don't think I would share that video, but I
Mhm.
don't have a problem it being available though.
100%. Absolutely, Mike. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm not going to
Yeah.
share it, but I watched it and I was like, oh, wow. Like, people need to
Right.
see this. Even if it's real or not, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know what to believe anymore. So
Right.
with technology, like we were talking about with the drones, like, is that AI? Is that something that just out there where it's not real? I don't know. I don't
My
really
gosh,
know
that's
anymore.
just
I'm to
it's
that point.
horrible. It's
It
just a
is.
horrible thing to see. It's one of the
Yeah.
worst ways to die, by fire.
Definitely. But then again,
Fire
like
and drowning, two of the worst ways to die,
oof.
drowning and fire.
But just like the border crisis, if they didn't show us pictures or videos of them sneaking between sections of walls, we wouldn't know. If we didn't see the kids in the cages, we wouldn't know. It's just another headline. It
You're
doesn't hit
right.
home. So
You're
I
right.
think there's a need for it in the media. But again, I wouldn't share it myself, but I don't consider myself a news source.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, I've
back
said
in
it.
the day, some of the worst news was presented at 10 o'clock at night, you know?
True. That's
Right.
Some
true.
of the worst, the most grown up things were presented after 9 o'clock because
That's
back
true.
then people had curfews for their
Yeah,
kids,
and they couldn't watch
you
TV
know?
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go to
These
bed, no
days,
phone, no laptop,
Yep.
you know.
yeah. These days, everybody's friends with their kids and they're hanging out with their
You're
kids.
constantly, yeah,
It's,
you're constantly sharing. So, well, like, I'm sure, see, that's the thing. That's a good point, Joanne. That's the thing is, like, I might not share it on social media, or some people might not share it on social media, but some people are going to share it with their friends or their kids and be like, hey, look at this crap. Like, what the hell? Like, people are going to share that with each other, that video. So it's
Mhm.
out there. And I think that's the only positive aspect, is that people will see it because of X, and it's not being censored, but it also
So,
desensitizes people.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
assuming the incident happened farther down the tracks. I'm hoping, and the person videoing this, I'm hoping it was too late for them to do anything about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have rather them save the woman than
Yeah.
take the video, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was an opportunity like that, and the
Yeah.
video's out there. So
Yeah, the impression I got was that it started when the train was, that's what I'm thinking. The train was moving, the doors were closed, and then when it came to that stop, the doors opened and this woman was on fire. That's
yeah,
that's what I'm imaging in my brain,
me
My
too.
you know?
I
Because to
get the
see,
chills just thinking about
yeah,
it. Like, ugh.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just, it's insane.
it
All right,
is.
It's
before we move
insane.
on, we got another comment from Duck Butter 69. I don't have a problem with it being shown, but we see too much when bad things are happening that the whole crowd is got their phones out instead of helping.
Yeah,
It's a sad world we
yeah.
live in now. Yeah. I mean,
It is.
in a blessing or not, 20 years ago we didn't have, you know, we didn't even have the flip phones. I don't think we had no phone cameras,
Yeah, yeah.
in a
It's a
way,
different
thank God.
world. It's yeah,
Okay, well, it was 83 I had. Okay, I think it was the 90s when the flip phones came out.
yeah. It was early
It
90s,
was the
like
90s
93,
because we had the
94.
beepers in the
I had the
80s.
bag. I had the bag phone in '93. I had a bag phone where you had it in your car and it charged
Yeah,
it and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
but you couldn't take
Analog.
pictures. You couldn't do
Yeah,
anything. It was like for convenient, like in case I need to call 911 or I get stuck on the
yeah.
side of the road. Like
I had a
everything
bag phone.
evolves to where it's like, oh yeah, I can use that. That will work out. It's good to have that. It's a good idea to have that. Oh yeah. But then
Yeah.
you realize that now it's just so polarized that and it was, again, we go back to technology and the drones and everything you said, Joanne, about, like, you went down that rabbit hole of like, wow, like they got all this stuff. It's like, but they have technology that's way farther in advance than the drones that we were released, that we can take little things and pick pictures, and that
Yeah.
was, they've had that forever. So like they just allowed us to have it at some point so we could surveil ourselves, really, because I mean that's what a drone does. I mean, I literally had it at my girlfriend's apartment. She lives in a big apartment in Fort Lauderdale, and one of the guys came out of his apartment, comes walking into the middle of the corridor where, in front of all these windows, 3 stories of buildings. It must have been a couple hundred buildings, so she lives in a big complex. He starts flying a drone in the middle of the corridor area, and I'm going, what the fuck is he doing? And he's flying it up 3 stories, and I'm looking at all these windows, and he can look at everybody's
Yeah.
windows and see what they're watching. If somebody's
He's a
standing there
peeping
brushing her
Tom.
hair naked. So I went out there and said something to him, and I wasn't a jerk. I just walked down and I said, hey man, I'm like, you videotaping? And he goes, oh, well, no, but they do. And I was like, yeah, I said,
You bet he was.
exactly. And I said, that's not a good idea to be flying that in a residential area with all these windows. And it was
Yeah.
like at dinner time on a Friday night too. I'm like, it's like Friday night at dinner time. Like, that's not a good idea. And he started like questioning why I was asking. I said, I'm just telling you that it's not a good look. Like, it looks a little
No.
creepy, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
So
just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. So I'm like, that doesn't make. He's like, I'm just testing it out. And I'm like, that's not a good idea, buddy. So you just take that little bit of that technology, and we turn it, we flip it, hand it over to us, and we just start to self-surveil ourselves. It's a
That's
tracking
right.
device like everything else. So
That's
it
what they want.
introduced the technology exactly. So that's why they're showing you what else we have. So this is what we have. This is what we're disclosing. Either you take it like this, or you decide what it is. It's a psychological a warfare on our minds.
Well, they're getting us addicted to the technology.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, we
Can't
talk
live
about
without it.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Can
the
you
kids
imagine not
forget it.
having the
Yeah.
internet?
100%. Yeah, it's crazy.
We got to take a quick break. I'm going to play a couple ads, and we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Perfect.
All right.
Welcome to the Patriots Prayer Network. Here, we don't just play to your feelings. We're rooted in honesty, and our foundation is based on Christian values, conservative beliefs, and a no-holds-barred approach. So, if your feelings clash with reality, it's not reality that needs adjusting. Are you ready to be part of a movement that challenges the official narratives, confronts the overwhelming tide of misinformation, and calls out wrongdoing wherever we find it? If so, you're in the right place. See, truth is our compass, and God is our only judge. Right and wrong mean more to us here at the Patriots Prayer Network than right and left do, and a complacent blind acceptance of the status quo will not be found here. We do not believe things are this bad in our country merely by accident. So, we investigate and dive deep into each episode and tackle pressing issues head on. Many podcasts claim they're unfiltered, but we mean it here. Go to the Patriots.
As we age, we lose a bit of energy. Of course, that's not our fault. Our bodies change as we grow. Healing patches rejuvenate your cells and in the skin play a key role in the aging process. Research has found that as we age, the number and function of these cells decline, which can lead to a decrease in skin elasticity and the development of wrinkles. But what if there was a product that could restore that spunk for more than just our skin? There is, and it does. The product draws out other huge benefits such as more energy, better sleep, reduced stress, and pain management. If you would like more information, please go to miraclehealingtherapy.com. That's miraclehealingtherapy.com. Here's that website address once again, miraclehealingtherapy.com.
America faces challenges like never before. Economic uncertainty, social unrest, debt implosion. The foundations of our freedom are under attack. To restore strength, prosperity, and the American way of life,
I plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world.
introducing the Trump token, blending the deflationary model of Bitcoin with the technological advancement of Solana. It's more than just a cryptocurrency. It's America's future medium of exchange. Stand with Trump. Secure your future at thetrumptoken.com. America faces challenges like never before.
Whoops, it was on loop. I just heard from Eddie earlier today. Got the information from Eddie that they are updating that ad for the Trump token. That they're just waiting for approval on the new production, and they kept their word. They donated the money, and they're supposed to be doing some good things. So,
nice.
I had to get those out of the way, pay the bills, and use the restroom. Welcome back to the Point podcast number 98. Tonight with me, Mike, is John Corapi from TGI Now podcast and Joann Binford from the Binford Chronicles. And actually, we're 3 of 4 that make up Indian River Connections.
Yep.
It's our local company, and we promote small businesses and characters in the community. We feature our podcasts, and we want to produce a few more. So we are actually coming up on January 10th, right, Joann? I think I've got the date right. Is the first one?
Yep. I think
Yeah.
so.
January 10th will be the first episode of
Yep.
the board report. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm looking at the other screen. The board report. And what the board report's going to be is a recap of the school board meetings, right? And we'd like it to expand in other directions, but right now our closest friends that are willing to share information with us that go to these meetings go to the school board. So until we make more friends that want to come on and maybe take 15 minutes to tell us what's going on in their city council meetings here in Indian River County, until that happens, we're focusing on the school board because some of these meetings go for 6 hours. The superintendent's workshops where they make decisions there too can go for 4 hours in the middle of the day. And I've got 3 kids. We've got gymnastics, Cub Scouts, soccer, full-time job there, full-time job here. And it's like, I can't, even though it's once a month, 6 hours on a Monday night. It's hard, man.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I go back. If I don't go, I go and review them and stuff like that. But it's still hard, And so, I mean, I think this is a great idea that what you guys have come up with, and I think it's going to expand into a lot more of what's going on in Indian River County and in our area, and like out in Fellsmere, what they're trying to do with that water park thing set up. I don't know what they're doing out there.
There's a surf park coming, and there's supposed to be another 1,000 units coming to the Fellsmere area.
Exactly.
That's 1,000 housing units. That's on average 2,000 vehicles, minimum probably 4,000 peoples.
Yep.
And just all that more of a stress on the county facilities affects everybody in the county.
100%. So keep an eye on that too.
Like Fellsmere anymore.
No.
Well, I said that to my wife actually driving the other day. We were going down 60 on the way to Fort Drum. And if you're local to here, you might know what we're talking about. And it's just like, take a good look at it now, because in another 20 years, you don't know what it's going to look like with all these villages and gated communities. You don't.
I'd say less than 20 years, Mike. I mean, I really do. I mean, everything's accelerating so fast that, you're looking at Fellsmere, and I don't want to get off topic, but Fellsmere is, a large plot of land in Indian River County, the largest really city that has.
How it is.
So you're talking about like a smart city, 15-minute city. That's a perfect location for what I think they're trying to do out there. Unfortunately, that's what I'm starting to see is like, whoa, what are they doing with these plans? What are they trying to do out there to make it, like you said, take a good look at it now, because that's going to be going adios.
The original plans I saw look like multiple 15-minute cities and neighborhoods on the outskirts of what we call Fellsmere. Yeah. And that was part of my point to Elisa. I wouldn't doubt it if in 20 years, you don't even refer to the area as Fellsmere anymore. No. Fellsmere is just that neighborhood over there. Like
it's tradition.
Florida Ridge. If you're from our area, you might know some of these terms. But
what's tradition in Port St. Lucie? That's a whole different pocket. Same thing. West of 95, same thing. It's the same scenario. That's what you're gonna start to see. So residents in your area, this board report idea, it'll start to migrate out to that part of town. So
we got Leo number 4 Indian River Connections in the comment section. Well, I don't know so much if we are the news, but if we have the news, we'll give it. If we can report, if we can make it more convenient for somebody else to get that information through the board report, more so be it, And I think it's to get back on that. We'll be enlisting Jennifer Pippin, the local chair for Moms for Liberty. Kevin McDonald, he's a former school board member, not just in Indian River County, who was appointed by the governor, by the way. He was also a school board member in New York, I believe. I'm not sure which part of New York. Joann might know better than me. Yeah, but he's got a wide experience in leadership in the school board, and especially with wholesome curriculum and classical education. So we look forward, and they attend the school board meetings regularly, and they're advocates for the children and parents also, just as important. So look forward to having those guys be a part of our gig here at Indian River Connections. And it's an inspiration. I'm sorry, Joann, not to cut you off, but I think it could form as an inspiration for other areas, that might be the kids are going crazy, for other areas that might want to do something similar for their own area.
I agree.
we're a small county, but we have a lot of money in this county and a lot of parents that don't really attend half of these. And we saw that with the hospital district meetings where they're going to pass on, what is it, $13 million in debt to the
Yeah.
taxpayers of Indian River County.
Mm.
People have to get involved, and they only get involved when they get the bad news.
100%. And that's,
So,
I think that's what COVID did for people. And, that's how we all met, really, Mike. And, we got involved. We didn't sit on our hands. We were like, wait a minute, like, I got to show up to these things. I got to see what's going on, because watching it doesn't do it any justice until you're there and you see it and you feel it and you meet other people in the room that have the same feelings and the same, and you resonate with them. And you're like, yeah, I know, I resonate with you. And here we are doing 3 different podcasts, and now 4 and probably 5, and and whatever's coming next, because we're building a platform and an umbrella. And like you said, other people that are listening out there that are from other areas, this is what you can do in your area too, is to build, if you're doing a podcast, to build an umbrella of people that can boom, 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 and and have different podcasts that spin off of other podcasts and other shows that you can help inform the people of what's going on in your community. Because we have no problem doing it, because we're already paying attention to it. We're already doing it. Joann's bringing people in, and she's interviewing people. Mike, you're interviewing people. We're doing it on PTGI now, and we're bringing people in that are local, that have an opinion and want to speak their truth. And so once you let them have that outlet, it inspires other people to do the same thing. And so that's just it. That's just a suggestion, and that's what we did. That's how we we're building this. It's not huge, but it's going to become huge, because we're going to be able to reach a lot of people.
I'm going to play the promo for our new show because I'm proud of it. Nice. We are streaming live on the Patriots Prayer Network. So if you're watching on Rumble or X or YouTube, Facebook, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, shoot us a comment, let me know of what you think of our idea and how we're bringing it together.
Oh, that's good.
I like it. It kind of puts them on notice, because who else is in our area? And I don't know how it is in Brevard County or Orange County, Washington State, where we have some members on our network. I don't know how it is in their counties, but we're a red county, supposedly, and you can't trust not a damn Republican in office. I'm sorry. Not in this county. There's maybe a handful. I might count 3. I might be able to count on one hand are elected Republicans that I can actually have faith in them being a conservative Republican,
Yeah, I agree.
But speaking of, let's move on from that. 2 things. I don't know if we'll get to them both, but I think what hits us local and national is we saw President Biden's local round of pardons. He pardoned, I think it was 37 out of 40 individuals that are sitting on death row right now. Here is, I'll add this to the stage. I can't see shit. I don't have glasses either. So
I can read it.
Here's his statement. I zoomed in on it. Yeah. He's dedicated his whole career to reducing violent crime and ensuring a fair and effective justice system. So people are saying he did this so Trump can't execute these 37 people. But what about the other 3 or 4? But today I'm commuting the sentences of 37 of the 40 individuals on federal death row to life sentence without the possibility of parole. These commutations are consistent with the moratorium my administration has imposed on federal executions in cases other than terrorism and hate motivated mass murder. That's like to be determined, I guess. Make no mistake, I condemn these murderers, grieve for the victims of their despicable acts, and ache for the families who have suffered unimaginable and irreparable loss. Anyways, it doesn't matter what he says after that. A county south of us South Florida, St. Lucie County, we mentioned it already earlier. It's got some rough neighborhoods. The sheriff down there issued a statement on social media condemning the president because it hit home for them. Let me see where I can switch over. Okay, this is a family that was murdered along the turnpike here in South Florida.
Yeah.
All four of them. We don't have to go through all their names. You can if you want. This is on a local newspaper to Southeast Florida. On the side of the turnpike, a mother and a father and their two small boys. You can see this was their wedding picture 3 years before the murder on the side of the road. And here's their two young boys.
Robin.
And it's sick. What got me even concerned with talking about this was the comment section on the sheriff's post was despicable. These people who are maybe residents of this county went after the sheriff for deputy involved incidences, whether they're motor vehicle accidents. It was real. They threw petty stuff out there. They were comparing what actually there was 4 people arrested in connection to this crime, and I think 3 of them are on death row. 2 of them obviously aren't getting put down, but they're comparing this to a deputy involved motor vehicle death, which is no good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody who would think that's okay, but it's not comparable. Like, the deputy didn't serve time. It was a motor vehicle incident that has no comparison to executing a family of 4 on the side of the highway. I just don't get it. The comment section was just despicable. I don't know if you follow them on Facebook, the sheriff's department, but I couldn't hold back. I had to, of course, leave my 2 cents. But
That's Mike.
that's
Tell you what,
37
people
of
out
these.
there are just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure a couple of them were either, I think 2 of them older males, or the older male was an illegal immigrant who influenced all these younger. I mean, a couple of them were only in their 20s who when they did the murder. So I just can't believe the guy who says he's for law and order, who's made our country, claims to make our country safe, is commuting the sentences. Now, I don't know your opinion on the death sentence or the death penalty. I'm not for government sanctioned murder, whether it's abortion or the electric chair or lethal injection. I just don't think it should be a government issue. Yeah, I hate to jail these people forever. Sometimes a long life in jail is worse. I don't want to pay for them either, though.
Yeah.
But the family does deserve justice. So maybe I would be a little more crude in how justice is delivered. I don't know, but I think it should be. I don't think the government should be sanctioning the death penalty.
Yeah.
Maybe leave it up to the family. I don't know. How do you guys feel on federal death penalties?
Well, I think everything should go through a trial. If you kill somebody, there should be a trial and a jury and due process. And if the people on the jury try you for murder and give you the death penalty, then that works, but it has to be, you have to be able to give that judgment without a doubt in mind. There can't be any moment where you're questioning it, because it has to do with someone's life. No matter how heinous the crime is, you have to be convinced without a doubt that person killed that person. Can I say that word?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat there. I think that what this is doing, to be honest with you, is it's putting a focus again on what this administration's doing to just destroy this country up until the last moment. allowing these people to not finish their sentence and be done and be executed. So I think it's kind of going to build an outrage like this, with the sheriffs being like, wait a minute, like this guy did this to these kids and this family, like how do you do this? How do you let this happen? How do you just decide to just let them off the hook just all of a sudden before you leave office? So I don't know, like it's a little bizarre to me too, Mike. I mean, again, like nothing makes sense. Like why is this a priority all of a sudden?
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if I'm old school or what, but I mean, I would be more comfortable if these guys' sentence was the firing squad.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think we put too much money into housing these people on death row, whether it's state or federal. I mean, if you're gonna once, like you said, Joann, they go through trial, if they're sentenced and it's within the court's realm to provide a lawful death sentence, so be it. I don't think I could vote for it. I have been on juries where even minor things, for like felony probation violations, where especially during the back the blue, where you always back the blue, but not always when you start looking into these facts. Like you have to go into every trial as a without a doubt.
Yeah.
And sometimes these police departments give you every reason to doubt, but people just automatically
just do it,
default. So I'm glad the jury I sat on heard my feelings behind it, and it actually, when you repeat, I think a lot of these juries, not to veer off from the pardons, but takes a good foreman or another person in the room to repeat the directions from the judge out loud, because then they hear what you're actually like. You hear the judge say it, but until like, I mean, my instance, I'm listening to people talk all around the room. This guy was guilty. He was going to lose his kids. He was going to go to jail for probably 15 years on a violation because there was a gun at the same house he was at during a party. And there was no proof it was his, and this police department was trying to pin him on it just because he was one of the slower ones that didn't get away when they ran, so it was like, I can't in good faith take away all this guy's rights just based on some faulty information, so I can definitely feel that in a murder trial. So if the jury goes through the proper deliberation and they make that hard decision and it's available to them, then I think, where does the president get off just commuting these sentences for cold-blooded killers?
Right.
And how long? I mean, what do we have? 29 days till January 20th? I'm not sure. Around there, right?
Yep.
Maybe we should take bets. When are we going to see pardons for Adam Schiff, for Fauci, for Liz Cheney? Right. What's next? Like, where's this going to go?
Wouldn't surprise me. So
well,
I mean,
what are they worth it to the enemy within? These criminals that they're letting loose. I'm thinking there's some connection with the enemy within.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's an invisible enemy.
Connected somehow.
You can't see him. No, you're right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Are they letting him out to do some evil works? I don't know.
Well, I mean, what about the jet that was shot down in the Red Sea?
Yeah.
And it was what was it? I forget what boat shot it down, but it was part of a carrier group, and it was one of our own F-18s, I think, that was returning from a mission targeting the Houthis in, what is it, Syria?
Yep.
I'm not sure where they were targeting, which we shouldn't be there right now anyways, but
no, of course not.
Then we shoot them down because we thought it was, what did we think? We thought the Iranians?
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? There again, where's the truth in that? Like, you can't tell me we don't know that's our guy coming.
Yep, exactly. Yep, you're right. Yeah. There it is. It's a perfect example.
But that's pretty much all I got for tonight. I do want to mention Joe McCoy. Eddie from the Patriot Prayer did a video earlier today, and he'll be on Cowboys and Indians podcast also tonight.
Nice.
This guy was a true patriot. He helped get a lot of Republicans elected in his hometown, and during the Trump days, he had put a big Trump sign on his property and was given the runaround and was given an opportunity to get a permit for it, was given a permit for it, and then he was violated. A lot of in-party fighting. I've heard that's quite common amongst Republican executive committees and different county jurisdictions, and they kind of sold him down the river, and he had to spend a lot of money on legal fees. He's got one leg. He's fighting colon cancer, and he's fighting to keep his property that's been in his possession for a long time. So there's a give, send, go for Joe, and I can post it in the comments at a later time, or if somebody else can post it, that would help. But check out that it's give, send, go, save Joe. I wrote it down, but I think I threw that piece of note away. But check that out. Check out IndianRiverConnections.com, where you can find all 3 of our podcasts and the new podcast coming out. You can shop our merchandise there too. Check out small businesses in our area. Use it for a footprint or a template to do something good in your neighborhood, and feature some good people in the area, which we still want to do. Like our Indian River Connections was our main objective before we evolved. It was to interview big players in our community, and that's still the goal. It's just it's a hustle and bustle type environment, and it's gonna happen. It'll happen. We'll see some big people. We've got some interviews coming up on To The Point podcast. We look forward to having. You guys got anything coming up soon?
Probably going to have Megan Walsh on the show again. Have her call in and do a like we're doing now, since we go live now. So we'll probably have her on the show again. She's been up to some things with, getting her children back. For those that don't know, on this show, that Megan Walsh, the daughter of John Walsh from America's Most Wanted, there's a custody battle with the kids, and she hasn't seen her kids in a while. So we keep up on that, story to see what the end result's going to be of that one. So we're going to have her on, and I'm building another list so we can do some other interviews via StreamYard and all that good stuff. So so
I'm hoping to get Megan on. I gotta get with her and see if our schedules can line up. I'd like to give her a chance to tell her story to the Patriot Prayer Network. It's her story. I'm not telling it for her. So give her a platform. I know she's got her own thing going on. Binford Chronicles, you got anything coming
I'm
up?
working on something, but I don't want to say anything till I know for sure. And I do want to hear the story on Megan Walsh, because the last time I heard I was seeing you get arrested, John.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, John just happened to be in the vicinity of Megan Walsh when our local sheriff's department confiscated her 5-day-old baby. And for John just happened to get his Florida flip phone out and record this, later was arrested, only to be put through some legal mumbo jumbo for charges to be dropped. Right?
Exactly.
We called it too. We knew they would drop them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. It was interesting. I mean, it's the journey that we take to get where we're at today. So
they almost did to you what they did to Joe.
Yeah.
They used the legal matters to drain him dry, and I'm almost certain that was the goal, was to get you to pay for a lawyer, to get you to go to court, to get you to try to fight it when they were going to have to drop it no matter what.
100%.
There was nothing there.
100%.
And that's what they did. They dropped it.
And they realized it wasn't going to shut me up anyway. So
they didn't. Maybe maybe they weren't subscribed yet.
Yeah, not yet. Exactly.
That is a tactic they use, because it's an expensive tactic, and it interferes with people's lives, their work, their time, their money, and that's really how you beat down the citizens.
It's true. It's true. And then at the same time, it's when people Google me, they see that chamber exec, fired chamber exec, and was arrested, for custody interference. So like when people Google me, they see that, like, if I apply for a job or something, they look it up and they're like, oh yeah, we don't want to deal with him anymore. So it all snowballed into that. But that's why we're doing this.
Yep. Indian River
I know,
Connections.
it's true.
Anybody that wants to sponsor us, we'll take your money.
yeah. If anybody's interested, like you said, though, I mean, if anybody's interested in getting involved with the board report and want to be a sponsor, I think that's going to be a good one for people I think it's going to be a hit. So, I mean, I've had people tell me like, that's a pretty good idea. It's going to be
great.
Yeah.
And we do, besides the podcast, we do other small business marketing also. Yeah. So if you have a small business in our area or feel the need to market to the people in our area, hit one of us up and we can definitely work something out, So I'm going to cut it.
Email at indianriverconnections@gmail.com.
Yep, absolutely. Anyways, guys, we're at an hour. I appreciate you guys helping me out with episode 98. Yep. We're going to be back next week for episode 99. Cross my fingers. If not, I'll piece it together again because I want to start out 2025 with episode 100.
There you go.
So look for us on New Year's Eve. Look for TGI Now podcast on New Year's Eve also. We overlap, but that's all right. Check us out.
We usually start a little bit before you guys, so that's a good thing. We try to get right before you. So that's what my goal has been, to start before you guys, and then we can overmesh. So,
yeah. So, anyways, appreciate it, guys. Until next week, we'll see you later.
All right, thanks, man.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the cancel toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crying. Truth on the mic while they keep lying. They wanna cancel, they wanna control, but we got the truth, we breaking the mold. Speak your mind, don't let them bind. Words cut through, sharper than a sword unkind. Senses just fall, no filter to stop. Voices rise up from the bottom to top. Feelings don't matter when the truth's laid bare. No nonsense, come at us if you dare. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crime.